People are always amazed at the low ticket price at Tokyo Disney Resort compared with other Disney parks. But when you factor in flights, hotels, food, drinks, merch, and queue skipping passes, nobody could blame you if you wanted to save a few yennies here and there. So I'm going to show you how you can save 17,760 yen per person per day when you visit. There are some things in here that it's impossible to know about unless you live here and visit the parks regularly, which is what I do. Many of them I've never seen online anywhere, and there's one that I do every visit, which has saved me so much money. But first off, let's talk about before you even get into the parks. You're going to do a lot of walking during your day, and it's totally understandable if you'd like to do a bit less walking. But what if I told you that you could save some money by simply starting your day with a pleasant stroll? Tokyo Disney Resort has a monorail that takes you from Maihama Station, the local train station, to Tokyo Disneyland, Bayside Station, where some of the hotels are, and to DisneySea Station. But unlike the monorails at other Disney resorts, this one costs money to ride. It's not super expensive or anything, but if you're using it a lot, it can add up. You may already know that you don't need the monorail if you're going to Tokyo Disneyland from Maihama Station. It's a 5-minute walk from the station, and it's a 2-minute walk to get to the monorail, so most guests only use the monorail to go to DisneySea, which I would actually recommend. But if you're trying to save money, you can walk from Maihama Station to DisneySea in around 15 minutes. You actually get some pretty cool views along this route too. Now, being the smart guests you are, you'll have already bought your park tickets before arriving. But you may not be aware that there's a way you can save a bunch of money on your park tickets. The parks don't do any promotional offers, but they do have variable pricing depending on the day. So take care when choosing your date, as not only are weekdays usually less crowded, they're cheaper too. And all with the same entertainment offerings and opening hours. Some days do close at 6 p.m. for sponsored events, but it's very rare, and that's usually on Fridays, so you want to check for that. Be sure to take advantage of child and junior tickets for younger guests, and if you don't have a whole day, you can save even more money with the early evening pass on weekends and the weeknight passport on weekdays. For some people, these next tips are going to sound as crazy as suggesting that you don't do any rides in the parks, but bear with me. They all involve something that a lot of guests think is an integral part of your day, and that's totally fine. But I'm here to tell you that there's a lot of money that can be saved by changing what you eat, and especially what you drink. Needless to say that you can save money by not buying so much food and drink at the park, but you can also save by making your choices a little more carefully too. Some foods are more filling than others for a similar price. That's why I normally grab a turkey leg when I go to the parks. They're big, filling, and delicious, as well as being an iconic Disney snack, and one of these bad boys paired with a sit-down meal can pretty much get me through the day. So you can stand to save a bunch of money there, but let's take this a step further. What if I told you that you don't need to buy any food or drinks at the park? And no, I'm not suggesting that you fast for the whole day. This might sound ridiculous, but unlike other Disney parks around the world, at Tokyo Disney, you're allowed to take in as much food and non-alcoholic drink into the parks as you want, as long as you use the picnic areas outside of the parks to eat your own food. The picnic areas are actually quite nice. They play the Disney music and they're super close to the entrance, so you still feel like you're in the parks, and then you can just hop right back in afterwards. You're probably thinking, well, that's all well and good, but what about when I'm thirsty? Japanese summers are very hot and humid, and you should obviously drink a lot of water no matter which time of year you visit. When I first visited in 2017, we had to queue in 42-degree real feel heat for an hour just to buy some bottled drinks, which was absolutely miserable. Honestly, I'm surprised people weren't fainting. TDR have since added vending machines throughout both parks, which helps with this problem a lot. But whilst 200 yen a bottle probably sounds pretty good to you, what if I told you that you can get ice cold water all over both parks without spending a penny? Yes, there are water fountains all over the parks, but that's not what I'm talking about, even though they can be pretty useful. I know, nobody likes hunching over one of these things and trying to drink water like an excited dog playing with a fire hose, but you can use these to fill a plastic bottle. Aha, I hear you cry. You're saying we should buy a bottle and refill it. That means spending money. Okay, whilst that is what I recommend on very hot days, the thing that I do every single time I go to TDR that I never hear anyone talk about is this: paper cups. Every counter service restaurant in both parks has at least one water fountain with a stack of paper cups. You don't have to queue up at all, just walk straight over to the fountain and refresh yourself. If there's a long queue for the restaurant, a cast member might ask you to queue, but just tell them that you'll want water and they'll let you right in. This has saved me so much money over the years that I dread to think how much I'd have spent if I was buying bottles every time. It also gives you an excuse to check out all the restaurants in the parks without having to eat in them all. So, I hope you now see that it's possible to save up to 17,760 yen per person in just one day on your trip to TDR with these simple methods. Whether you're trying to save money on your trip or splurge and have a great time, there are some things that can ruin your trip no matter how much money you're willing to spend. There's one mistake in particular that I've seen some vloggers make which made them miss out on some of the best rides. So you'll want to watch this video next so you don't make that mistake or any of these others.